All right, everyone. So we are done watching Monday Night Raw. What a Raw this was. This was phenomenal. This thing kind of built slowly, but man, did it land in every way, shape, or form. This was a really, really good Raw. So let's get right into it. We're just going to hit some of the highlights. So obviously, we start out with Naomi winning the right. She won the championship. Now she's out there and she's talking to the audience, and she's clearly trying to maintain her heel status because the fans actually were cheering for her, right? So she's going ahead and she's trying to maintain that heel status. Then Rhea Ripley comes out. Then Io Sky comes out. They're doing a great job of building this feud. It's going to be very exciting. We now know there's a triple threat match at SummerSlam, which I think is great because you do want to keep this Rhea Ripley Io Sky, like Rhea's never beaten Io. You want to keep that because is something you keep in your back pocket to say, we could use that at WrestleMania. We could use that at another big pay-per-view, right? As the main driver as to why Rhea wants to beat Io, or even if it's for a championship. Like things like that are really, really good, right? They're built-in storylines that I think WWE loves to use. And so keeping that by having a triple threat, I think it's going to be huge. I have no clue where they're going to head with this, right? I mean, if Naomi lost it in a few weeks, that would be, I mean, that would be kind of a bad title reign, right? I don't know if they're going to do that. We still have the Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair situation. Are they going to get involved in this somehow? I have no clue where it goes from here, but we know that match is going to be on um, SummerSlam. Okay. Then we got to the Judgment Day, and I love what's going on with the Judgment Day. Finn Balor obviously was seemingly the odd man out for some time. He wasn't winning championships. GD McDonough, his main ally in the Judgment Day, was out injured. So things were not looking good for him. But the tide has turned, right? Obviously, Liv Morgan is now out injured. And so Finn Balor is kind of calling the shots. And we've already seen even Raquel Rodriguez is a little bit more sympathetic, a little bit more accepting of Roxanne Perez, which is crazy, right? Crazy, 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 because it seems to be building towards potentially a big Roxanne and Liv Morgan feud, and I don't know if that's going to actually be um, something that gets her kicked out of the Judgment Day. I don't know if it's Roxanne that's going to be out or Liv that's going to be out, but I can't wait. And I really do like the Judgment Day, so I almost hope that they don't. But they might want to make her a baby face. And if they want to make her a baby face, the best way to do it was to have something with Roxanne for her to be out of the Judgment Day. So then they had a match. I don't think there was too much to come of that besides Dom running a little interference. But bottom line, we had Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez looking a little bit like they're more of a team than we've seen in past weeks. Then we had the big match between Bailey and Lyra. Now, I love this feud right now. I think they're building a lot of fan interest in this feud. I think you could kind of feel the hatred between the two, which is huge. Lyra got the better of Bailey in what was a great 2 out of 3 falls match, but you saw Bailey's face at the end of the match. And to me, that just, it was one of those things that just basically it was shocking, right? To look at it, and it just told the story of, all right, she's still pissed about this. How is this Lyra Bailey feud going to continue? Because I think there's a lot left there. Obviously, now Lyra will face Becky Lynch, but I got to be honest, I think the feud that I want to see more of is Lyra and Bailey. So maybe after this Becky situation, we'll get more of that because I do think there's real animosity between the two. Then we had Chelsea Green versus Nikki Bella. Very good match. Nikki Bella ended up winning. Obviously, um, Stephanie Vaquer also got involved because there was some talking back and forth before. So, once again, very good match. Great to see Nikki Bella on Raw. Then we had, for the final match, it was the gauntlet. Okay, now this is where, as I'm sitting there watching Raw, I have my iPad out, I'm watching it. You're enjoying it and you're like, okay, yeah, cool, let's see who wins. All right, they were telling the story of Braun Breaker. He's you know there was a few interferences from the Heyman faction, right? But Breaker's beating Penta. Let's see, he beat Penta, LA Knight, Jey Uso, and then he ends up losing to CM Punk right after there was kind of interference on both sides. And so at this point, you go, okay, cool. CM Punk's the one getting the title shot against Gunther. Makes sense. Going to be a good match. Let's see how they build to it now over the coming weeks. And then something crazy happened, and that was Roman Reigns returns. And with the return of Roman Reigns, the fans went ballistic. I mean, the fans were going absolutely nuts. Nobody saw this coming, and maybe I missed it, looking at some of these websites, but I don't think anybody had this thing that he was going to be returning. WWE kept that on, the down low, and it shocked everybody. I was stunned to see it. And the first thing that I thought after the segment was over, because it was so good, was, man, they had this planned. Would be my guess. They had this plan at least. And Seth Rollins, if he was there, how big of a kind of boost that would have been. It would have been massive. It really, really, really would have been massive. So I just hope that we get Seth Rollins back sooner rather than later. There's so much here. They've done such a good job building the story, and to kind of see it get pulled away like this, and then to see the return of Roman Reigns and how exciting it is. It's like, sure, we have the feud between Roman and Paul Heyman still, but it's just not the same of what it would have been with Seth Rollins, right? With Seth Rollins being involved. Like I said, it could have been the case that they basically rushed Roman Reigns back when they found out Seth Rollins was hurt. Or, yeah, I mean, basically, right when they found out he was hurt, because it could have been that. Wouldn't put it past that being the case, because remember, they're like, look, we need, we got to get you back now. We're going to need you. But if he was there, I just think it would have added so much more. And this was shocking. And like I said, the audience reaction, there's a lot of big pops, but it was a mix of like the fact they were so excited to see him and that they were shocked to see him. I don't think anybody knew that he was going to be returning. I don't think, like I said, I didn't, usually I'm pretty on top of seeing some of these articles or these reports. I didn't see anything about a possible Roman Reigns return, and it delivered on every front. I don't know what they're going to do now, like, what the storyline is, where's, which title is he going to go after. I don't know all of that. Is there a potential for him fighting Cena at some point? I have no clue. But this, all I know is this was a absolutely phenomenal return. This was a phenomenal Raw overall. I mean, this thing, like I said, it was kind of weird because there was really good moments, and then okay, there's a little, all right, maybe, nothing huge happening, and then I was almost lulled into like a sense of, okay, here's the main event. We're gonna either have somebody winning here, it's gonna be CM Punk or Braun Breaker at the end, and you're just kind of watching and enjoying it. Didn't expect anything else to happen, and as of late, WWE has done a ton of this with Monday Night Raw. And I always talk about how important it is to make Raw and SmackDown appointment viewing, right? You just, when you save it all for the pay per view, you just get to a point where watching Raw is like, okay, I'm going to get the storyline bits and I'm going to see this and that. But it doesn't become appointment viewing like it was back in the day. They're starting to get that a little bit more, where it's like, we're going to have massive things happen in this match, and you better be watching Raw, because you may miss the Roman Reigns return, right? You may miss a title change. Like, you better be watching. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.